everyone, welcome to my channel, Tea and Pups. So today I'm excited to actually share this topic with you because it is a topic that I feel is important, and it's a topic that I can highly relate to. And that topic is having a dog while working full time. So I remember sometime last year, I remember getting a comment from, I guess, like, I don't know if it was a subscriber or somebody on YouTube, because I made a video about having to board my dog for a trip or something like that, or I can't remember exactly what the circumstances were. And I remember getting a message or a comment, and it was just like a long rant. It was, some of it was very irrational. Some of it was just like, this person is just venting or trauma dumping, I don't know. But they made a comment about like working and how it's not fair and that your dog should have all of your time and all these different things. And I was just like, how? Like, not work? If I don't work, I don't eat. And my dog don't eat. Like, what? So it really inspired me to kind of like deep dive into like what it's like to work full time and have a dog. What are ways that you can really, you know, make working full time and having a dog comfortable for you? Because it is super easy to feel and like have feelings of like guilt and sadness about having to leave your dog at home or drop them off at boarding, or, you know, have a dog walker take them out because you're like, oh my gosh, they're lonely. Like, this isn't fair. Like, why do I have to work and my dog has to deal with this? And here's the thing. Most of us have to work. Most of us have to work to eat and to feed our dogs, okay? That's just the reality. It is what it is, like capitalism, okay? And your dog knows that you love them and that you care about them. And it's okay if you have to go to work. It really is. When you get home, they'll be just as excited to see you regardless. They'll be like, oh my gosh, my owner's home. Yay, like, let's play, let's hang out. And so that's also the reality. Like, your dog knows that you love them. Your dog loves you. Your dog's not going to turn its back on you because you have to go work. There are just things that you could do to really like make that work better. And just things that you can do to make it super comfortable for you and your dog. So let's get into it. I am going to be using my notes because I typed everything up and I wanted to make sure I gave a really thorough explanation and discussion around this topic. So let's get into it. So this should technically be the first step in regards to you having to work and own a dog. Except that it's okay that you have to work, and it's okay that you have a dog. Your dog is going to love you and cherish you regardless of you having to work a job. Oftentimes people make it seem like a dog is so miserable because, you know, you're leaving them at home, or sometimes they're craded for a few hours or whatever. And the truth is, like, oftentimes, especially if you have a rescue dog, like your dog, and I hate to say it like this, but it's true. Your dog is so much better off in a crate for 3 to 4 hours at your home, in comfort, in his place of peace, in his place of solace, than being at the shelter or being on the streets. So don't let people even discourage you from getting a dog if you don't have a dog. It's okay to use a crate. I promise you. It's okay. I've been using it for 8 years. It's okay. My dog she's alive. She's well. She's happy. She's healthy. Period. That's what matters. Okay? And so just realize that, like, your dog is safe at home. Your dog is going to be okay. They're going to be happy when you walk through the door. And like I said, it's okay to have a dog and work full time. I promise you. Okay? Now let's get into some of the strategies that help make it more comfortable for you as a dog owner and for your dog, given that you work full time. So the first thing, create and set a routine. Dogs love routines. It makes them feel safe and less anxious. And so it gives them, like, it's almost Also too, some dogs seem to have like an internal timer. Like they know, like I'm supposed to be fed now, I'm supposed to be walked now. And they'll even tell you and like let you know. Like our foster dog that we have, I started a habit of waking up at like 5 a.m. to take her out. And y'all, at like 5 a.m., 5:30, sis is like beating on her crate, whining. She's like, y'all need to let me out. Like I need to go to the bathroom because it's a habit, it's a routine. And so she got used to that. And it's almost like her body got accustomed to it. And so now it's like the expectation of her is like, this is the routine. We need to stick to it. And it makes them feel safe and less anxious, even though she's anxious to get out. It's essentially a cue to let us know, hey, it's time for me to go out, which is typically what the routine has been in the past. And so maybe like set aside 30 minutes or so each morning, or whenever, I guess like 30 minutes before whenever you go to work. So if that's in the morning, if it's in the evening, set aside 30 minutes to really focus and give attention to your dog. So make sure, of course, that they have water, that they have food, that they have a potty break. If you're giving them any enrichment toys, provide them at that time. Play with them, you know, train them. Really do a lot that's going to also like enrich the dog. So dogs have to be physically and mentally stimulated. And so some of the things that are really good for those types of stimulation include like training sessions. So like grab some treats, do a quick 10-minute training session, create or like do some type of enrichment toy, a puzzle, or a Kong and fill it with a bunch of different goodies. It could be a series of different things. Also taking them on a walk. Like if you have time for a quick walk in the morning or in the evening, take them on a walk, let them sniff around, let them do the things, because it helps mentally and physically stimulate them, which makes it easier and more comfortable for them to be at home while you're at work. And so I do encourage you to check out those things. Now, a note I have on the toys is be mindful of what you give your dog in terms of toys. If you know that you have a chewer, like our foster dog is a chewer, be mindful of the toys that you give to that dog. If they're a chewer, maybe consider something like an extreme Kong or something like that. Extreme, I think it's called extreme chewer Kong, because those are harder for them to chew up and bite up and tear apart, because you don't want to come home to a mess, but you also want to be careful about what your dog has, because you don't want them to choke on anything while you're away. All right, number 3, if you have flexible hours, and you're not that far from home, maybe consider going home for lunch or your break and take your dog for a quick little walk and a potty break, and then put them back in the house. It kind of cuts, or in the house or their apartment, it cuts out the monotony. It gives them, it's almost like a reset in terms of mental and physical stimulation when you go home and take them out, because it kind of like resets the timer. Like, okay, it's been 4 hours since I've been out, and then you take them out at lunch, and then it like resets. So then, you know, by the time you get home, it might be another 4 or 5 hours, and that's okay. So definitely consider, like, if you have long enough breaks, if you have flexible time for work, and if you're not too far from your house, maybe just consider taking them out at lunchtime, and then you can grab something to eat while you're there. Number 4. For this one, this is if you have someone that's able to do this, maybe ask a family member, one of your friends, a roommate, or a trusted neighbor to take your dog out during the day. And maybe y'all can come up with some type of arrangement, whether or not you're doing the same thing for them when you're available or you're paying them. But consider asking them to take your dog out while you're at work. All right, number 4, consider a dog walker. And so there are a lot of options for dog walking. Like, I am a dog walker on Rover. There are a bunch of different websites. There are a bunch of different businesses that you can actually reach out and get pricing for and quotes for about how much it would cost to take your dog out. And so most of the time it's not too expensive. It might be like $15, but if you're only taking them out, you know, once a day, or having the dog walker take them out once a day, it's not too expensive. What is that, like $75 by the end of the week if you do all 5 days? And so that's something to consider. You could check out Rover, you could check out WAG, you can see if they have any local businesses, which a lot of people do have dog walking businesses. So definitely like consider that and see what your options are in your area. All right, number 5, daycare. Now this is a little bit more expensive than the other options. In fact, daycare can get a little pricey, but if you got it, you got it. And if you don't mind, boom. Daycare is a really cool option because not only does it give your dog a really good opportunity to interact with humans while you're away, it also gives them a really good opportunity to interact with other dogs and socialize with other dogs while you're at work. So it's like while you're at work, your dog is having the time of their lives at daycare. And it's just like you will not feel any ounce of guilt at all because your dog is turning up, okay? Your dog is eating puppuccinos or however you say it with other dogs. Your dog might be playing. Some of them have pools and swimming pools and things like that. Your dog is turning up. Your dog is like at the club for dogs, essentially. So that's another option. That's a really cool option. With daycare, they often do evaluations just to make sure your dog is dog friendly because they don't allow aggressive dogs and reactive dogs in daycare. So if your dog is not friendly to the dogs, then 10 out of 10, you probably won't be able to bring your dog to daycare because it's too much of a liability for your dog to interact with other people's dogs because you can end up with dog bites and a bunch of different things. So do check out daycare options in your area and contact them and see if, you know, they have an evaluation and get that set up to see if your dog is suitable for daycare because it is a really awesome option if you have the option and you can afford it. Number 6, while you're away, provide really engaging toys and activities for your dog. So I mentioned earlier, Kongs, puzzles, things like that. Those are really good enrichment activities and toys. Just be mindful about your dog and their behaviors. Like if they are going to destroy the toy, maybe not give them that toy, maybe give them something that they actually can't destroy. My default is always a Kong. Like I absolutely love Kongs. I've been using them for years. I always say that is a tried and trusted product. Get a regular Kong, or if you have a chewer, get the extreme chewer Kong and put a bunch of goodies inside, maybe freeze it and provide that to your dog. But always make sure that whatever you provide and leave for your dog is suitable for that dog and that it's not a risk to their health. All right, 7. So this is more so when you get off from work. Just set aside some time to spend some QT with your dog. When you come through the door, they'll be super excited to see you. You should be super excited to see them. You know, let them go outside to relieve themselves and then just spend a little time with them. You could do a quick training session. You could do a walk. You could do all those different things. But really do something to, like, basically celebrate you being home. And just being back with your dog, I think is what it is. I definitely used to do that when I get off of work. I would immediately get into my workout clothes and go take my dog for a walk. Okay, and then number 8 is consider working on training exercises before and after work. Training is also something that is really good for dogs' mental and physical stimulation. So definitely see if you have time to set aside some time to do that either before or after work, when you come home for your break, any of those things, because those are also really good and it would make your dog a lot more comfortable in their crate or at home because they kind of exhaust them a little bit. And like I said, it's really important that when it comes to dogs that you really focus on mentally and physically stimulating them, and it'll make them a lot more comfortable while you're at work. And so those are really the strategies and ways that you can make working full time and having a dog work. They'll ensure that you're comfortable and they'll ensure that your dog is comfortable. And I think that'll make it a lot easier. And so I do encourage you to maybe explore those strategies. And when it comes to those of you who are considering getting a dog, but you're worried because you do work full time, there are a lot of dogs that need rescuing. There are a lot of dogs that are code red and last call and that need amazing owners that are able to take care of them. And so if you're considering a dog but you're worried about working, just know that more than likely you're going to be working for a very long time. And it's not necessarily fair to deprive yourself of having a dog because you work. You just have to make it work. And so that's why I encourage you to explore some of those different strategies, whether it's daycare, boarding, a pet sitter, all those different things in order to make everything comfortable for you and your dog. But it is possible. People do it every day. Some people do it with multiple dogs. It's okay. Definitely just look and see what your options are in terms of, if you have somebody to watch them or take them out. look at your options, see what you can afford and explore those. But don't let people discourage you from getting a dog because you work. Just make sure that you have at least maybe set aside some time, like an hour or whatever, to really dedicate to your dog, and everything will be okay, I promise. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.